So we went ahead and drilled out our hole on our breaker plate that we marked. It will also line up with our module here. As you can see there, everything lines up as it should. I have adjustment on that side there. I can move the module back and forth if I need to get the proper spacing. Now, as far as spacing goes, pertronix gives you this little plastic piece to set the air gap properly for the pickup and the magnetic trigger. So that's why the adjustment, here needs to be there so you can adjust the air gap. Now, I went ahead and elongated my hole as well because this module, like I said, fits a vacuum distributor, not a centrifugal distributor. So I went ahead and elongated this to give me some more room. What I also had to do is just slightly elongate the back hole here to slide the module back. I already went ahead and kind of test fitted this, but I needed to make this hole just slightly elongated. Everyone's going to be different. I said if you attempt this is at your own risk. This is not a factory how-to on swapping these things. It's just something that I'm doing because I had this module already. So that being said, we'll go ahead and mount the system to the breaker plate with the M4 by 0.7 screws and the nuts that came with the pertronix module vacuum module. These nuts won't come with the standard module, but no need for them on a standard module because it just pops right in. So we will go ahead, lock these things down. Your best bet on this thing, and I've already done this, your best bet is to kind of test fit everything. You know, put the module onto your breaker plate, put the breaker plate back into the distributor itself, put the trigger, the magnetic trigger, over the distributor shaft, and then check with your measuring tool. Pertronix gives you the air gap between the rotor and the pickup, the trigger and the pickup. You want to make sure that this thing fits in there. If it doesn't, then that's when you need to adjust the pickup sensor to get the proper air gap. And like I said, I had to just elongate my right side hole here. The non-adjustment hole, I elongated just a little bit to get this thing to come back far enough. So we will finish putting this together here. These are lock nuts. They got a locking washer onto them, so I'm not worried about having to Loctite these screws or anything. I'm just going to tighten them down and it'll all work as it will. So these will go here. Like I said, this is a it's number 7mm. Put it on the right direction. This ain't gonna work. Make sure that's nice and tight. Push this all the way back. Like I said, I had already test fitted this once and made my adjustments and then took it back apart so I can show you guys little tricks that I have figured out or found or whatever you want to call it. Like I said, it had to be adjusted slightly. I had to elongate the adjustment hole and I had to slightly elongate the locking hole or opposite hole, the one that we drilled. Not a huge issue. Here is the spacing that I was talking about before, the curvature, making sure everything matches up. Notice that the plate here on the module itself matches up with the actual distributor plate. You know, it follows the same curve. It's not off center in any way. Go ahead and once you have this all tightened down and put into the distributor, use those marks that we had done before, those yellow. I used yellow. I don't know if you guys can see it in there, but I had marked the plate and the distributor so that I can get this to drop right back in with some relative ease. If not, you kind of fight it a little bit, which you still kind of do sometimes. Once it drops in, you'll just rotate it around. You'll lock the plate in place with your cap, your cap holders and screws. A little flathead here, a little flathead action. Do the other side. I'll lock this side down as well. Thread this on. Like so. So if you can see it there, there's the gap between the pickup here, okay, and the trigger, which runs around the shaft of the distributor. There needs to be a gap between the two of these, okay. And like I said, I know the last video the lighting was kind of crap. I don't know if this is really much better, but you'll get the idea that there is a space there. Now that space, like I was talking about before, is what the pertronix sends you, this little plastic piece, and that is what needs to be slid in between there. As you can see there, it needs to be slid in between. Look at what you see, it won't fall out. It's in pretty decent, it's pretty tight, but look, I can pull it out with my two fingers. So that's the proper air gap that needs to be between there. Now once you have that all down, it's bolted down there, and you have the proper air gap, your rotor's down, your pickup's in, everything's bolted down, you're pretty much home free from here. You can put the distributors back together, run your wires through the hole here where your coil, your condenser wires used to go, and your point wire and all that, run all that through there. Now just as well, I take this little rubber grommet here. I'll take a little rubber grommet and I'll stick it on the wires. I'll then feed the wires through the hole, and then I'll slide the grommet down the wires, and I will put it into the hole here to seal off this hole. This is how I've always done it on them. I'm pretty sure this is how Pertronix wants you to do it. I can't really see any other purpose for this piece, to be honest with you, other than this. And I'll show you the second half of it here in a second. Alright, so once you get the little rubber grommet into it, you'll notice you'll have this piece here, which is slid on also. This is a little rubber like chafing piece or whatever. I'll just simply pull this through. Just pull it through the hole here. And pull it nice and tight, like this. There you go, nice and tight. There you go. It's through. It's through. Give it a little tug, make sure it's good, which it is good. The wires themselves, you know, I'll make sure the wires aren't going to rub on anything, touch anything. Make sure everything is properly adjusted so it's all going to work as it should. As you can see there, there you go. Just ran everything through the rubber, through the grommet. Everything's set. Water's not going to get in here and disrupt anything. Wires in the ends. Once you have that all done, you're pretty much home free from there. Put our clamp back on here. New, staple to the finger there, that didn't feel good. New distributor O-ring. Highly recommend always using one of these for any sort of distributor rebuild, new distributor install. I mean, really anytime I think the distributor comes out of the car, these things are cheap. It's cheap insurance. It keeps the oil in the motor and not on the top of your engine block. Anytime you do anything with the distributor, I think you should put a new one of these on. Like I said, they're cheap. You can get them just about anywhere as far as a Volkswagen supplier. So there you go. It's a new O-ring for you. Rotor, nice and tight. Don't have to cut the rotor. Put the cap on. Put the rotor on. You don't have to cut the rotor. I know some of these modules you have to cut the rotor to make them fit. This one we do not have to cut. We'll line up the cap with the lock plate there, and there you go, guys. That is a completed swap of a vacuum style pertronix ignition system, modified to work in a centrifugal only 009 distributor. Take the cap off one last time so you guys can take a look at it. Rotor's off there. There you go. That is, like I said, a vacuum moduled setup in a centrifugal distributor. I will post a video also of this one being installed and being timed to show you that this does actually work. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.